Hello and welcome back to the channel. So today we will be doing the topic of differentiation of AD.MATHS O levels. We will be starting with the very basic of differentiation first, and then later on we will go in depth of this topic. So without further wasting our time, let's see what differentiation is and how we can differentiate different equations easily. Okay, so for example, if we have a equation where y is equal to 3x squared plus 4x minus 1. So first of all, I would like to apologize for the writing, because I use Jamboard to write and record these videos. So those of you who have used Jamboard, you know that it is a little hard to write on the Jamboard with mouse. So yeah, I will try to improve. Alright, so moving back to the topic, so we have a equation where y is equal to 3x squared plus 4x minus 1, and we are told to differentiate this equation. So how we will do it? Well, first of all, we need to know that whenever we differentiate y with respect to x, so we write it as dy over dx. Okay, now so how do you differentiate? Well, the very first step to differentiate a equation is to first multiply this power, the power of x, which is 2, with the coefficient. So if we multiply 2 with the coefficient, which is 3, it will become 6. Now the second step is to subtract 1 from the power. So if we subtract 1 from the power, which is 2, the answer is 1. So this will be 6x. Alright, now let's look at the other. We have 4x over here. So we know that over here the power of x is 1, which we usually don't write. Alright, so if we multiply 1 by 4, it will remain 4, and if we subtract 1 with the power, which is 1, which is our second step in derivation, then this will be equal to 0. So anything with the power 0 in AD.MATHS is 1. So if we have x with power 0, then this will be equal to 1. So we know that x over here is now with power 0. That means that it has become 1. Alright, so this is something that we don't usually write, but this is just for understanding. Alright, now minus 1. So over here we know that x is with power 0. Why? Because we know that x with power 0 is equal to 1. So this is equal to 1. So 1 multiplied by 1 is equal to 1. So that's the reason why it is written as only 1 and not with x power 0. But just to explain, let me show you how this is really. So it is like x with power 0. So when this 0 multiply with 1, this whole becomes 0. So the only differentiate of this equation is 6x plus 4. Let's write it over here, 6x plus 4. If you have some confusion, then don't worry, as we move forward all of those will be cleared. Now let's see another equation. So let's say now we have y is equal to x with power 4 minus 7x squared plus 6x. Alright, so this is our equation. So now we have to differentiate it, so we will write dy over dx. So how will you differentiate it? We will do the same over here. We know that the power of x is 4. So 4 will multiply with the coefficient, which is 1, right? 4 ones are 4 x, and then the power is subtracted by 1. So this will become cube. In the same way, we know that the power over here is 2, and when it will multiply with the coefficient, which is 7, it will become 14, and when we subtract 2 with 1, the answer is 1, so it will be 14x. And over here we know that x is with the power 1. Alright, so 1 6 are 6, and 1 subtracted by 1 is 0. So x with power 0 is equal to 1, and 6 multiplied by 1 is 6. Alright, so this is our differentiate for this equation. Once again, for those who haven't understood this, let me explain again. We know that the power over x, the power of x over here is 1, so 1 multiplied by 6 will remain 6. Alright, and then when 1 is subtracted with this power, it is equal to 0, so it will equals to 6x with power 0. Now we know in ADD.MATHS anything with power 0 is equal to 1, so x with power 0 is 1. So what is this equal to? This is equal to 6 multiplied by x power 0, which is 1. So this is equal to 6. Alright, over here we have written 6. Again, this is just for your understanding. As you mature, you won't have to do all of this. You will understand yourself that the differentiate of 6x is 6, the differentiate of 5x is 5, and the same way any number like 3x, the differentiate of 3x is 3. So as you will mature and you will practice more and more, you will understand this, and you won't have to do this. This is just for just for understanding. Alright, let's see another equation where we will have y is equal to 2x cubed, which is 3 plus 5x squared minus 4x plus 9. So now we have to differentiate it, so we will write dy, which is differentiate of y with respect to x, so dy over dx. Oops, it's very hard to write on this. Dy over dx is equal to, alright. So now you can pause the video and try to first solve it yourself, and then you can resume the video later on to see if you got it right. Okay, so now we know that 2x cubed, we know that the power over here is 3, and when 3 is multiplied by 2, this becomes 6x, and then 3 is subtracted by 1, this becomes square, plus when 2 is multiplied by 5, this becomes 10, and then when 2 is subtracted by 1, this becomes 1. So we won't write it. We know that 10x means 10x with power 1. Alright, so we won't write it anymore. Okay, and the differentiate of minus 4x we know is equal to minus 4. Now what about this plus 9? Well, we know, like we studied earlier, like I told earlier, that over here it has power 0. Alright, why it has power 0? Because we know anything with power 0 is equal to 1. So when 9 multiplied by 1 is multiplied by 1, it is 9. Alright, and we know that over here we have 9, so we assume that over here it is x with power 0, and when 0 is multiplied by 9, you know that the answer is 0. So this whole actually cancels out. Alright, that's the reason we do not write it. So the differentiate of y equals to 2x cubed plus 5x squared minus 4x plus 9 is equal to 6x squared plus 10x minus 4. If you got your right, then you can correct yourself. Okay, so till now I hope you have understood how to do this, how to differentiate those simple equations. Now let's see some other types of equation. For example, we have y is equal to 4x plus 2 over x. Now if you have to differentiate this equation, how will you do it? Well, one thing we have to understand that y is equal to 4x plus 2x with the power minus 1. First of all, we will bring this equation in one line form. Alright, in one line. Now I hope you guys already know that this 2 over x we know means that 2 over x power 1, and whenever we bring anything over here upwards, it becomes minus 1, right? And when we will bring this over here upward, it will become minus 1. In the same way, if we have 2 with over x square, so this would have become x 2x with minus 2. Alright, So this is how our equation now looks like. So we know now that the differentiate of 4x is equal to 4, and this minus 1 will multiply with plus 2, so it will become minus plus minus 2, 1 2s are 2, so minus 2x. Now we know that the power over here is minus 1, and we have to subtract 1 from it. So minus 1 and minus 1, we know that minus minus is plus, and 1 plus 1 is 2, so it will become minus 2, right? So our final answer would be 4 minus 2, and we will bring this x with power minus 2 below 2, alright, like the way it was written earlier. So this will become 4 minus 2 over x squared. So this is our final answer. Okay, so if you still haven't understood it, let's try some other equations. Let's try some similar equation like y is equal to 9x squared minus 3 over x squared. Okay, so now we know that first of all we have to bring this in a simple one-line equation, okay, so that it become easier for us to differentiate. So how are we going to do it? Simple, like the way we did before. Y equals to 9x squared minus 3. When this x squared will go up with 3, this will become x with power minus 2. Okay, now we have this in one line equation. Okay, now we will differentiate it. So this will become dy over dx is equal to, we know that the power multiply with the coefficient. We will look at this first, right, like the way we did the other equation earlier. So the coefficient of this, which is 2, will multiply with 9, so this will become 18, and 2 will be subtracted from 1, which is 1, so 18x. Now minus 2 multiplied by minus 3 is plus 6, right? So this will become plus 6, and minus 2 subtracted by minus 1 is minus 3, right? X minus 3. Okay, so this is our differentiate for this equation, but this is not our final answer. Why? Because we know that the equation that we have to differentiate had the x squared below 3, so we have to take this below 6. Alright, so our final answer will be 18x plus 6 over x with power positive cube, right? Because this was minus 3, and when this will go down, it will again become positive cube, and when this will go up, it will become minus cube. Alright, so I hope now you have understood how to differentiate this equation. Even though if you leave your answer in this form, it will be marked as correct, but it is advisable to write it like this. But again, not necessary, even writing in this form will be correct. Let's see some other equations similar to these, like y is equal to 5x squared plus 4 over x minus 2. Okay, so this is 5x squared plus 4 over x minus 2. Again, apologizing for the writing. Okay, so better. Okay, so now what you have to do is to pause this video, first try to solve it yourself, and then resume the video to see if you have done it correctly. Now we know that first we have to transform the equation in one line form, so 5x squared will remain the same, and plus this will become 4x with power minus 1, right? And this will remain as minus 2. Now we have the equation, and now we have transformed the equation in single line, So now we will differentiate it. This will become dy over dx is equal to 2 multiplied by 5 is 10 and 2 minus 1 is 1, so x minus 1 multiplied by plus 4 is minus plus minus, 4 1 4 are 4, so minus 4, and this will become, and minus 1 subtracted by minus 1 is minus 2. Okay, and this minus 2 will cancel. Okay, why? Again, because we know that this is x with power 0, and when 0 multiplied by 2, this whole cancel out because this whole becomes 0. Okay, so this is our differentiate. This, if you leave your answer like this, it will be also marked as correct, but it is advisable to write it like this: 10x minus 4 over x square, 4 over x square. This minus 2 is taken down and this become positive 2. So this is the answer. So if you have gotten the correct answer, well done. If you haven't, then do not worry. Try to do these types of questions more and more from your ADD.MATHS book or the past papers, and you will surely improve. Now let's try to differentiate some other type of equation like this one, which where y is equal to 8x square plus 3x minus under root x. Now we all know that under root means 1 over 2, right? Under root equals to 1 over 2. Similarly, cube root is equal to 1 over 3. This is something that we are told in the primary classes. Okay, so having known that, we know that this will be written as, this can be written as 8x square plus 3x minus x, right, with the power half, right? I hope you guys have understood it. Why we have written this x with power minus half? Because we know that x was under root, it was under root x, so we know that under root is equal to 1 over 2, so under root x means that x with power 1 over 2. Okay, so obviously now it has become easier for you to solve. Now you have to for you to differentiate, so now you can differentiate it. This will become dy over dx is equal to 16x, right? 2 multiplied by 8 is 16 and 2 minus 1 is 1, so 16x plus the differentiate of 3x is 3. The differentiate of this will be minus 1 over 2 multiplied by 1, right? Over here the coefficient is 1, right? So 1 over 2 multiplied by minus 1 is minus 1 over 2 x, and 1 over 2 minus 1 is minus 1 over 2 x minus 1 over 2. Alright, so this is our differentiate, so we can now write it as 16x plus 3. Now we know that this is minus 1 over 2 x with power minus 1 over 2. So if I take this x minus 1 over 2 with 2 over here below 1, we can, this will become positive, right? We know that. So this will be minus 1 over 2, right? This is the same 2 over here, right? And this x minus 1 over 2 was positive. Why? Because it was upward, and now when we will, it was with 1, and now when we will bring it below 1 with 2, it will become positive x. So it will be x with power half, which we can also write as 2 over x, 2 over under root x. So this will be our final answer. Okay, for those of you who didn't understand this part, let me do it again. Okay, so we know that the dy over dx was equal to what? it was equal to 16x plus 3 minus half x with power minus half. So it was 16x plus 3 minus half x with power minus half, right? So what we did was that we wrote 16x plus 3 the same like this, but like the way we did earlier, that we used to bring the negative power downwards to make it positive, the same way over here the power of x was minus half, so I brought it down with 2 to make it positive. Alright, so we know it was we know that first x minus half was with 1 over here, so I brought it down, so minus 1 remained upward and 2 was down here. So when I bring it down with 2, it became x with power positive half, right? And we know that half is also equal to under root, so I can write this as 2 under root x. So I hope that many of you would have understood it now. Okay, so now let's try one more of a question like this, where y is equal to 6 under root x minus 6 under root x. This is our last question for today's video, and we will continue this topic in another video which will be releasing very soon. Okay, so now first pause the video and try to solve this yourself, and then you can resume the video to see if you have done correctly. Okay, so let's start. So dy over dx is equal to, okay, first of all let me write it simply like 6x with power 1 over 2 minus 6x with power 1 over 2, so you guys can understand it more easily. Okay, so we know that half, which is the power of x, will multiply with the coefficient, so this will become half multiplied with 6 is 3x, and half minus 1 is minus half. Okay, in the same way we will do this. We know that half multiplied by minus 6 is minus 3x, and 1 over 2 separated by 1 is minus half. So this is our differentiate for this equation. So now you guys know what we have to do. Yeah, you guys it right. Now we have to bring this x which with the negative power downwards to make it positive. So our final answer would be 3 over under root x, right? Why? Because this negative minus 1 over 2 will go downward and become positive 1 over 2, and positive 1 over 2 is also equal to under root. So 3 over under root x minus 3 over under root x. So this is your final answer. Though leaving your answer in this form is also correct, but it is preferred to write it in this form. Okay, so this is it for today's video. I hope you have found it helpful. If you have any problem, you can always ask us in the comment section, or you can go to the about section on our YouTube page, and you can find our email over there, and you can mail us the question, and we will try to give you the answer as soon as possible. Thank you for watching.